This is the second video explaining how to do an offset cone development. Now you can see that I went ahead and completed the rest of the sections of the development, and now I will simply just draw a spline around the points here. Now one thing you should probably do before you actually start doing this is make sure that, again, that all your lines intersect at the same point up here, okay? And you can simply do that by highlighting, make sure it looks like only one grip is present. Alright, and now I've drawn a spline. Now that does a good portion of the development. Now we actually have to do the subtraction part of the development. And when I say subtraction, I'm talking about the part above, between here and the tip of the cone, okay? Because what we just drew was a cone as if the development were whole, but this has actually been truncated. So what I want to do is to determine what that would be, okay? And I'll simply do it the same way I did in the last video, except I'm just doing the part inside the circle. So to remind myself that that's what I'm doing, I'm just going to trim out the outside here. Alright, and I'll find the true length of these lines. Now of course the one running straight to point 7 is going to be this length here, which is 8.0186, because that's the edge view. Okay, and I'll just simply trim everything that's inside the circle. Okay, and I'll do that for the rest of the points as well. I'm going to work through those very quickly, but again, I'm using the same procedure that I did for the longer units. Alright, this was 7.9609. Okay, now I can use that same circle to trim that line and that line, because it's for 6 and 8, okay? The lines that went to 6 and 8 before. Alright, moving along. Probably you want to remember to clean up every time you do one of these, to make sure that you're working on the right point. It can get confusing if you start leaving a bunch of lines. Almost done. And of course this true length line will just be the length here, because it's the edge view, so it's 7.1091. Alright, and now I'll simply just draw my spline as I did before, clicking on the endpoints. Okay, and that's our completed development. Now, just to make sure that you've done everything as you should have, what you need to do is use the list command, and you'll click on the spline here, for example, and then type list, and AutoCAD will give you some information about the spline, including the length, and that is 40.1115, and you want to compare that against the circumference of this top view, and that's 40.0553. It's not exact, but it's very close, and it should be within a few hundredths at least, depending on how large your development is. Okay, and also check the top one, and it's the list command, and that length is 16.0446, and this circumference is 16.0221. Okay, so that's very close again, and that's an acceptable development, and that's the way you should check your work. And that concludes this video on how to develop an offset comb.